Hi. Emotions are feeling pretty raw today. I've been doing a lot of thinking about things and about poetry, and I was thinking today about how I've written so many poems about dead Black people, so many poems about injustice, and how many poems do I need to write before we just say, this is enough, that it's time to fight. And there have been a lot of protests, there have been a lot of looting, and I think we just have to keep at it, keep fighting, and not letting up. We're at a point of grand decision making here, and I just think we need to keep at it. And there are people who are talking about the difference between protesters and looters. And there is one commonality. Both of them are people in pain and people pushed to the edge, and they are reacting differently, but it's the same cause. It's the same issue. Black people are dying. Black people are being mistreated. How many times do we need to be mistreated before we say enough? And protesters have their way of saying enough, and looters have their way of saying enough. This authoritarian rule needs to end. And I also wanted to talk about support, and I've gotten amazing support from friends and true support. And I really appreciate a friend of mine who sent me a message saying that my son could stay with them because my son is living in LA and he's near a lot of the protests going on, and I've been worried about them, and he and his wife, and that is true support. If you wonder how you can support people in times like this, think about how you can really support them. I've seen a lot of messages from organizations talking about how they support Black lives and the protesters, and how horrified they are with the death of George Floyd. But we need true support. We need true change. And the letters are nice, but we need companies to stand up and support their employees who stand up. If you have an employee who wants to protest and go out and protest, don't say, well, we feel really bad for Black people, but you have a job to do here. Treat people who want to protest like as you would treat the military people out there enforcing their will against protesters right now. I'm guessing a lot of those people, a lot of the National Guards and reservists, they have another job that they're going to be able to go back to once they're done suppressing the people. So support those efforts. Support if your employee wants to go protest, say, go protest. Your job will be waiting for you when you get back. And I also would like to remind people that, again, I'm organizing a protest for February. And a lot of people have asked me why February. And there are many reasons why I chose February. One is there's the theme of delivering Valentines with the names of people who have been lost to police violence or just basic violence against Black people. But there's also the concept that there will be a new administration in session, and no matter who wins the election, we still have to get the law passed. So this gives us time to research what kind of laws we want to propose and what we want to accomplish at that particular protest. I want to be able to go and say, this is research we have, this is what we propose, and we are not leaving Congress until we see these laws enacted in some fashion. And lastly, I wanted to bring out that in 1963, Martin Luther King stood up and gave his I Have a Dream speech. That is something like 57 years. And 57 years, that's not a dream deferred. That is a nightmare. Black people have been living in a nightmare. Ever since we were dragged to this rock in the United States, we've been treated as slaves, we've been treated as animals, and it is more than past due. And we need to start fighting for it, and we're not going to accept anything less than equality, anything less than decent treatment. Thank you.